Congresswoman Jackson Lee, thank you very much for giving us your time. I'd like to speak regarding Iran. Some may say that your legislative track record with regards to Iran is a bit mixed. On the one hand, you've supported the Comprehensive Sanctions Bill, the Petroleum Sanctions Act, and you've also you've been a regular speaker actually at MEK functions, but at the same time you have co-sponsored a bill, I believe, that requires President Obama to seek congressional authorization should he decide, if and when the time comes and he decides to maybe take military action against Iran. Are you a dove or a hawk with relations to U.S.-Iran relations?
I'm a proponent of peace, and that means I look at all options and opportunities to engage in peace. As we are well aware, the MEK is no longer a terrorist organization. That was declared some years back, and even as it was on the terrorist list, there are many of us who disagreed that these were resistors, and in the early time of their engagement, incidences happened that we were not involved in, obviously. As they have matured, they wanted peace in Iran. That's very important. And as well, it's very important to be strong on sanctions. And I have been strong on sanctions. Anytime there's an opportunity for engagement to make the region better than it is, I think members of Congress should be open to it. But we're not the administration, and the administration has set its own tone, its own goals. But I believe our President Obama, is interested in peace. That is why he has been so effective and so strong in promoting these nuclear negotiations and being persistent that we are not moving on these negotiations until Iran agrees to reduce its commitment and its utilization of nuclear resources. You have to do it all in order to work in a very tough and difficult region.
Sure. Speaking of the nuclear talks, whether it's this administration or any future U.S. administrations, dealing with this is not going to be easy because there's also not only Iran involved, but then there's the allies involved whose interests may differ with the U.S. over Iran. Some of them are really not very much optimistic and might not really want a U.S.-Iran rapprochement. How would you deal with something like this?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right in the instance that every time you sit down at the peace table or the negotiation table, your parties that sit with you have different and unique interests. In particular, there are many of our allies that are sitting with us that have very unique energy requirements and are tied to Iran through its energy resources. But everyone knows, 201, that a nuclear weapon in the hands of Iran will be destructive not only to those who are in negotiation, but to the world. The one thing our allies and our fellow negotiators understand that nuclear weapons can be a disaster for way beyond the boundaries of Iran and the region. And they understand that nuclear weapons in the wrong hand kills. Not only do they kill, they are destructive for much of the world. And I think that self-interest of survival and life draws us together. If Iran had shown any other attitude, any other approach to its foreign policy, there might be a door opener that would separate us, but it is not and has not. And therefore, I don't think we're separated, no matter what our interests may be individually as it relates to energy resources. We are united as to the danger of Iran having a nuclear weapon.
But they're afraid that a rapprochement between the U.S. and Iran may kind of marginalize them.
One of the things that is unique about the United States is that we don't attempt to conquer, we attempt to collaborate. And I would disabuse them of that belief that the United States having any engagement with Iran would not be for the greater good of all, and that the United States would not choose to lock out anyone else. We're trying to ensure, plain and simple, that the region is not more disrupted than it already is with a nuclear Iran, and that the world is not made more dangerous with a nuclear Iran. That is the United States' peaceful goals, and it is no way have I seen in any of the debates of those of us in the United States Congress that we will be looking to eliminate discourse and dialogue with other countries.
Speaking of the region, violence in Iraq has been escalating. However, the U.S. administration has made some overtures, especially Secretary Kerry, I believe today, said that the U.S. is ready to share information with Iran against the ISIL. Are you in favor of cooperating with Iran on this issue?
Well, let us be very clear that the ISIS is a terrorist group, plain and simple, and they must be stopped. They are killing innocent Iraqi. Both Shiite and Sunnis are losing their life in this bloodshed. In addition, I think it is important to note that when you're looking for peace, you're looking for many options. I am concerned that any engagement with Iran may give the impression that we are taking one side over another. However, I am very, very much in agreement with the leadership that President Obama has given and interested in any efforts that can be made by our State Department that would draw this violence to an end, cease to have this siege upon Iraq by ISIS, protect innocent persons, give respect to Sunnis and Shiites and the Kurds, and allow a stand down, a ceasefire, so that there can be deliberations that would make Iraq move toward a coalition government. I don't think any country should be allowed to dominate Iraq now, including Iran. I think it would be conflicting with what is best for Iraq, which is the peaceful resolution and respect of all parties that live in Iraq. However they can live in a loose coalition, but there should be respect for dignity and life, and to allow the children of Iraq who are suffering at this violence to go to school and to have hope and a future in a country that is really historic, is beautiful, has much to offer. So I would make the point that my government looks for opportunities to cease this violence. And I will be mindful of the efforts that are being made. I will be concerned in certain instances about any extensive collaboration with Iran. And I would look to the international community to be part of any efforts for peace, including the very important countries in the region, from Jordan to Saudi Arabia. I would hope that that would be an approach as well to be able to ensure peace in Iraq.
You've been a proponent of withdrawal of American forces from Iraq. In hindsight, do you think it was a good thing that the United States pulled out and the Iraqi government did not sign the SOFA agreement for more American presence?
We all would have wanted for Iraq to sign the agreement. The president was prepared to leave 10,000 troops on the ground. 10,000. Asked for a simple level of decency, that our troops who gave their lives, 4,500 of our treasure died in Iraq so that the Iraqi people might be free. Simple dignity of making sure that our soldiers in the course of their duties were immune from prosecution in Iraq. I don't believe that the president could have ceded to Maliki in leaving troops there without that agreement. But even before that, we gave the Iraqi government a peaceful stand down after our troops finished beating back those individuals that wanted to, in essence, undermine the Maliki government. I am disappointed that at that time a coalition government was not put in place so that there could be many people working together in the Iraq government and working toward a prosperous and futuristic Iraq. That did not happen. No, I don't blame the United States upon reflection. The war should have ended. Unfortunately, it was a war that was troubling to Americans from the very beginning. And as the representative of people in the United States, we thanked our soldiers, we respected our soldiers, but we also recognized that they made a great sacrifice. And President Obama did the right thing by ending an age-long war and turning to the Iraqi people and the Maliki government to lead Iraq. He did not do that. And so we are where we are today, and I'm hoping that he will look to another opportunity to do so if that's possible. But I think it is important for Iraq to be helped and for us to work with the United States, with the nations that surround Iraq for a stable region.
Congresswoman Jackson Lee, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.